Well, hello there guys. As you can tell from the title, we're going to be doing a little laid back rap with me Q&A. I asked you guys for questions on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, make sure that you do so that you have a chance to ask me questions in the future if I do another Q&A. But I asked specifically for just lighthearted questions because I don't want to get like too serious here. It's a fun video, you know, we're wrapping presents for Christmas. If you guys missed what I got my kids for Christmas, I will have that up in cards for you guys. I talked through everything that we got. Otherwise though, the only additional present that I have in this is my husband's present, and that's because he knows what he's getting. I don't know if my mother-in-law or my mom will watch this, so I don't want them to see what I'm getting them. But let's go ahead and get to questions and get to wrapping. So first, before questions though, I will show you guys what I'm getting my husband for Christmas. They are these Tentry, just like lounge pants. Super soft, very nice. And then I got him a new beanie because he mentioned that he needed a new beanie. So I got him that, and then 2 pairs of boxers from Packed Apparel. So that's what he's getting for Christmas. So for the first question, I got a few regarding, you know, a mother of now 3. And of course, people want to know what's been the hardest change. I had a question from the Maltese about whether going from 2 to 3 was harder or 1 to 2. So first off, definitely going from 1 to 2 was harder for us. Both Ryan and I agreed on that. And I think that mainly the reason it's so much easier this time for us is Revelyn and Airly were 15 months apart. So when we went from 1 to 2, we essentially still had a baby because Rev was so young. So we had 2 babies. Whereas this time, Rev's almost 4, Aerie is 2.5, and they're able to help get things when we need help. Also, this year, my wrapping paper matches my decor, and I'm super excited about it. I wanted to do this every year, but I always had leftover wrapping paper from like years past, which my frugal husband really wanted me to use up, and I understand why, but I needed new wrapping paper for this year, so I went the matching route, so I'm pretty excited about it. And then the hardest thing though has really just been the fact that like I can't always just like get up and do something for the older girls, especially like while breastfeeding. And I could just like be, you know, boop hanging out, going to do something, but my parents are living here right now, and personally I prefer to cover up around my stepdad and my mom. It makes it a little bit harder right now while they're living with us for this short period. They're building their house, and so they're staying with us until their house is done being built. And so just in the meantime, it's obviously not the easiest thing to navigate when I need to make sure I'm clothed if I'm going somewhere in the house. I also had another question regarding Christmas traditions, like favorite Christmas tradition. A cool one was if there's any traditions Ryan and I have started with the girls that our parents didn't do with us. So one of the biggest things I think that we are not doing that our parents did is we aren't doing Santa. We get that question a decent amount. And so if you're curious still, no, we do not do Santa with our kids. We by no means are like mad at our parents about doing Santa at all. I mean, I remember it was fun as a kid, but it wasn't imperative to me to get the full experience of Christmas, like to have Santa, if that makes sense. And so we just decided that we were going to keep it Christ-centered, and that's it. And so that's what we decided for our family. So that's obviously the biggest difference. In terms of like actual Christmas traditions, we always spend Christmas with my parents. This year will be with Ryan's parents too, since they're all in North Carolina now. So it's kind of just us 3 here, like Ryan's parents, my parents, and us. So we're going to be continuing the tradition of we've always gone to the movies on Christmas. Now we do it a little bit differently now. Our lovely neighbors are going to actually be joining us for part of Christmas, but they're going to let us use their theater room for Christmas since we have a newborn and 2 toddlers. And I think we're going to watch Christmas Chronicles. But otherwise, we really don't have like a ton of like crazy Christmas traditions. Christmas Eve, we always had like a bunch of snacks and just ate all day really. We'll probably still do that. I really just kind of continue traditions like making Christmas cookies. Revelyn would not let me skip that tradition if her life depended on it. I also got asked how many kids did I think I would have when I was little. So I don't know like how little. I feel like I was never really I'm gonna have this many kids growing up kind of person. Actually, when Ryan and I started dating, I didn't want any kids, which is a funny story. I didn't want any at all. And just over time, my heart changed, and obviously that changed a lot because not only did I decide I wanted biological kids, but we also wanted to adopt. Really, my life in my head was very opposite of what it is now. And by no means am I like upset about that. Like, my wants and my desires just changed. When I was in high school and middle school, I was dead set on I'm gonna be a forensic scientist and I'm not gonna have any kids. I feel like I was just very career driven more so. Which obviously now, not that YouTube isn't a career, because it definitely takes me probably close to at least 30 hours every week between like emails and editing and filming more sit-down videos. I don't include vlog footage in that or anything. So there definitely is like a business side of things, and I do consider myself a working mother because of how many hours I do have to put into YouTube, but it's definitely like very different than what I had planned. You know, obviously forensic scientist, YouTuber, two very different things. I got asked what are my favorite words that my kids mispronounce. I love this question, that's a fun one. One that Rev always has said wrong, and Ari says it the same way now too, is instead of grandpa, they call Ryan's dad Grampka, which is super cute. And then Revelyn doesn't do it anymore, but she was, even the beginning of this Christmas season, she would pronounce Christmas Missmas. And it was just so cute coming from her. And then not so much a mispronunciation as just like she says it incorrectly. Instead of airily saying like I don't know or something, she says I can't know it. And it's just really cute. I feel like I'm gonna answer all these questions just wrapping this one box. I'm not good at multitasking. That's another thing about me if you didn't know. You know how most women are like great at multitasking? So not me. I'm terrible at it. I'm gonna make my tags for these later, so for now I'm just writing on the back whose they are so I don't forget. Or knowing me, I won't make any tags and I'll just leave it like this. Okay, I've been asked this question a few times, and that is, what do I miss about Illinois? If you guys don't know, we moved to North Carolina a little over a year ago. So a year ago, last September, we moved to North Carolina from Illinois. When it comes to the actual state, Illinois, the only thing that I missed is Portillo's, which those are starting to pop up in other places. So it very well could make its way to North Carolina, but at the same time, I don't eat dairy anymore and I don't eat meat anymore. So there's really no reason for me to miss it because everything that I would get from there that I loved had dairy or meat in it. So at the same time, I don't miss it. But like, of course I miss like my family, no offense family, but not enough to move back. We definitely feel like North Carolina is where we were supposed to be, like no doubt at all. We've just grown so much since we got here and we love it. In a perfect world, our entire family could follow behind us, but that just won't happen and that's okay. Oh, this is the hardest part of wrapping, is trying to just find boxes, because I am not about to try to wrap this thing on top. Just trying to find a box. Okay, I think that closes enough. So we got a few questions about homeschooling. One is, will we continue homeschooling? Yes, as long as the girls are doing well with it and still responding to it, then we will plan to do it for as long as it's working for us all. The other question was, what is my favorite subject in homeschooling to teach? I think it's probably science. I really like that just because Rev is really interested in it, and it's just something different other than, you know, the typical numbers and letters, which you just do a lot of, especially like at this age, early on with preschool age. It's just constantly numbers and letters, so it's nice to have something a little bit different. So another question I got was, what is my favorite part about being a mom? And I honestly feel like my favorite part is also my least favorite part, and that is watching your kids grow up. I absolutely love watching them grow up, and I love watching them learn new things. And one of the things that I'm most excited about is the holidays when they're older, like teenagers, which is obviously them growing up too. But at the same time, I don't want them to grow up, and I want them to slow down a little bit more because they're only little for so long. So one of my favorites and least favorites really is watching them grow up and learn new things. I was also asked what my best piece of advice would be for new parents, and that is teaching quiet time. Always teach quiet time to your kids. One of the things that I see a lot of parents getting stressed out about, stay-at-home parents specifically, is when their kids outgrow naps. I see it time and time again. They're like, no, they're outgrowing naps. I'm so upset. And that comes from kids that don't, at least I would assume, don't know how to do quiet times. At least for me, like Revlyn's kind of half outgrown her naps. She takes a nap about half of the time. But I think that if we hadn't taught her quiet time, she would appear to have outgrown naps. But because she's used to quiet time and has no issues with it, she still takes naps half of the time, or otherwise she's just in her room for a couple hours just playing, reading books. so I don't lose that time in my day to get stuff done or to film like I am now. So I can't stress enough the importance of teaching them just to have independent play and quiet time, and how much of a difference it will make for you, for your sanity alone. And that's one thing, is like, don't ever feel guilty about giving your kids quiet time, because it makes such a difference for me to be able to have like a small chunk in my day where I have time to myself, or I can get things done around the house uninterrupted that I wouldn't otherwise have if my kids didn't know how to do quiet time. I also got a question about my favorite thing about our house and if I would change anything about it. I honestly love it. It's the perfect size for us. I don't think that it's our forever house. You know, we've mentioned before, we'd like to eventually, if it's possible, own a horse farm. We plan to adopt too, so we would want more bedrooms, especially with meeting. Like right now, we don't need a homeschool room per se, especially being unschoolers at this age. But as our kids get older, we'll definitely need that space. So I wouldn't want to give that up. But for right now, it's literally perfect for everything that we need. I can't really think of anything, maybe like a slightly bigger laundry room. Our bathroom, I would want a bigger shower. I don't like how small the shower is at all. Oh, our wall paint. The paint on our walls looks so bad because we didn't know better about getting flat paint. I wish that I had known that you should get satin or eggshell paint, because it would have been a lot cheaper to do it that route than paying someone to come in and paint everything again. It's gonna cost several $1,000s to do that, but like we have to, like we literally cannot clean our walls. I have a Great Dane and 2 other dogs and 3 kids. I can't have paint on my walls that can't be cleaned. So yeah, it's just a pain in the butt. That's like my biggest regret about building this, was not getting satin or eggshell, which I know that can be a lot more difficult to repaint if you need to touch up places, but I will take that any day. I would rather repaint an entire wall if I needed to way in the future than having the walls I have now and not being able to clean them, because it's like, it drives me nuts. Okay, so hopefully she will let me wrap this last present for you guys. So last present, last question. And that one is, what are like my go-to foods now I'm plant-based? I do plan to do like go-to meal recipe video for you guys. I get asked for that quite a bit. It is going to come eventually. Like kind of like our staples in our house are tofu. Once we figured out how to cook tofu, that was life-changing. I really like green lentils, I discovered. We eat a lot of like rice or cauliflower rice meals. We eat quinoa noodles, like Banza quinoa noodles with stuff. Like snacking, I snack on a lot of almonds, Hummus and pretzels are huge in our house. It's like gonna be yours to open on Christmas. That's pretty cool, huh? You got hiccups. Well, that is gonna be it for this Wrap With Me Q&A. I'm gonna ask you guys a question, and that is, what is your favorite Christmas tradition? I wanna know down in the comments below, so let me know, and I will see your wonderful faces next week. Bye.